All right. Let me minimize this. That's okay. So here's the property that you sent me. All right. So the first thing I do when I look at the property is okay. It's from a broker. It's from a lesser known brokerage house. It's not one of the big ones like Marcus Millichap. So it's probably going to be an easier property to deal with as far as you're not having to deal with these big retail brokers. So I look at the property, and the property actually looks like it meets exactly the type of criteria that I look for. It's got the pitch roofs. Roofs look like they're in pretty good shape. Separate entrances, okay? Now that might be, these might be townhouses, and I hope they are. And that means that you got this whole side, and look at the landscaping is very minimal, so there's not much to do to it. I've got the satellite dishes outside. They're not affixed to the property, but that's something I'm definitely going to be looking at when I go through the property. Separate entrances. It looks to be about 1980s or newer, which is a nice looking property. It's got the nice siding with brick exterior, easy to maintain. The parking lots look relatively new. Let me just keep this color scheme. Yes, don't show me this message again. Okay, parking lot looks good. So, hey, kudos to the broker for putting his best foot forward. This is a nice looking property. Now, here's the confidentiality and disclaimer. This is their get out of free jail card. This means that if ever it comes back that the information that you received was not accurate, it's not their fault. It's your fault. Your job is to do the due diligence and verify everything. Okay, fine. Property information. So let's see what we have here. Landmark is pleased to offer sale qualify for townhouses. They're offering 60 individual condo townhouses. Now, when they say condo, right away my mind goes to, okay, so is 60 the whole entire complex? Why are they condos? Did they try to sell them as condos and it didn't work, so they made them multifamily properties? Are we better off going to the Board of Assessors and having them change it from condos back to multifamily? Or is this a 120 unit condo development and I'm just buying 60? Well, that makes a totally different ball game. So the property was built with the condo regulations in place. That doesn't really tell me much. Each unit has a washer and dryer hookup, so right away I know that I'm not going to see any income from a laundry income on the profit and loss statement. 60 units built in 2008, good time. 1980s or newer, that's much newer. 3 bed, 2 bath, central air. Okay, number of units, 60. They're showing me the NOI right now of 673. I'm just going to keep my eye on that number, 673, so I can figure out either the value of the property if he shows me a cap rate or the cap rate if he shows me a value. Years, okay, everything else we've already seen before. What else do we know here? Building class A, residential, 2008. Okay, it's on a slab wall. Okay, slant shingles. Heat, gas, forced air, electric, air conditioning. The key thing I want to know there is who pays for that. I've got 11 buildings of 60 units apiece. Okay, here we go. All right, what I do here is I try to get a couple of visions. Now, with Google Earth, if you haven't loaded in Google Earth into your computer yet, you're crazy. Google Earth will give you the ability to actually visit this property without ever leaving your office. So here, what I'm looking for is like from a marketing standpoint, I want to make sure that it's visible from a major street, and this one kind of is. You see, it's on this Pleasant Valley Road, but look at Pleasant Valley Road is a dead end. Okay, so isn't that interesting? It should cut right across here, or maybe it does. Maybe it goes underneath those trees, and it goes. It's a cut through street. That might be the case. Wouldn't that be interesting if it goes right through those trees because it's named Pleasant Valley on this side as well? Then that would be really cool because then you got a cut-through street and everybody uses it. The other thing I look for here is competition. What is this building right here? Now right here it looks more like this is a building with a bunch of parking around it, maybe even a school. Or over here, this could be a church the way this looks. So you want to make sure, and these are all single residential homes. So, or right over here, this might be Springett's Oaks Park. I wonder what type of property are in there. So what's my competition? Where am I getting this competition from? A lot of parks, nice area. So this looks like a cool area. This is in York, Pennsylvania. Okay, property description and recently converted was built as student housing, and recently was converted to primary market rate housing with a few students remaining. Huh, that's interesting. All right, then they tell you more about York. Okay, so that a few students remaining. My concern is that my income statement is going to reflect the renting of beds as opposed to the renting of apartments. I want to make sure that I clear that up before I go much further. Okay. Then what else they have here? Nothing on this page. Okay, some pretty pictures. Hardwood floors is cool. There's your washer dryers. Same thing, same thing. Pretty nice looking stuff. Location information, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. Um, Wait a minute, look at that. So it goes over a bridge. It does cut through. Huh, that's a pretty good street. That's got some good visibility. Right over the Susquehanna. Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, that's looking good. There, okay, wonder what these are. These could be, single family condos already sold. Boy, where the heck are all the cars? Everybody works. Everybody works. Good for them. Okay, financial analysis. So, oh my, this is interesting. Look at the profit and loss statement. It is not being done on a property management software program. This almost looks like like QuickBooks. We're going to figure this out in a second. Now, my concern is you always want to know the dates. Look at this. The profit and loss statement is only from January to mid-August. Why? Well, okay, maybe they ran these numbers. Look they ran these numbers on October 22nd, August 22nd down here. But why didn't you give me a trailing 12? Why don't you give me from July or September through August? That would have been a lot more interesting. They got the gross rents. Yeah, see, this is all done on a very bad property management program. It's not even a property management program. Look at this. Well, they got net. See, yeah, this is probably QuickBooks because look at that. See how they name it? Net ordinary income. QuickBooks calls it, profit and loss statement, net ordinary income. But we do NOI, net operating income. So this is not a property management system. All right. Here are all the rent rolls. Same thing here. Um, monthly rent, pet extras, monthly amount. So you got the extras. I wonder what these extras are. That's key. We want to know what the extras are. Huh. Look at all those $65. Now, this is very, very important, Nathan, that you find out what the extras are. Because what they've done is they've broken down the monthly rents in the middle column, and then they're saying that, oh, you got to add $65. So let's take, Joyce Yingling right here, and she pays $1,160. But the monthly rent is actually $1,095. So when you're doing a comparison in the marketplace and you're looking at the other market rents, you have to look at 1,095, not 1,160. But before you make that decision, you've got to figure out what the $65 goes towards. All right, maybe they're going to tell us. Maybe they're going to tell us. Sales comps. I don't care about sales comps. It's just another way for the broker to lie to me. Of course, he's going to choose the sales comps to make his property look better. Demographics, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man. You know what's really interesting here is this guy, Drew Bobbinchek, is a CCIM. Let me tell you about a CCIM. In my opinion and in my professional experience, the most people in this business have 3 or 4 letter acronyms at the end of their name. Everybody can get one. You just take a weekend course and you can say, oh, I'm a CPM or CRM or what have you. The guys who have a CCIM after their name, that to me is the highest level of professionalism in the multifamily business. These guys have been through some real numbers and they know how to analyze a deal. And that's why this whole analysis here is kind of shocking to me that it's very, very light on the numbers. This guy as a CCIM knows that it's light on the numbers. And so he's going to want to, you're going to have to talk to him and say, hey, listen, Drew, help me out here. I like this property, but I mean, the numbers just, I got to rebuild the financials here. Can you get me more? So he's a CCIM. He's probably going to be a very, very good person to work with. Chuck Heller, there he is. All right, and that's it. Okay, good. Pleasant Valley. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to right here. All right. Okay, now we finally got this up and running. Okay, here, let's say no to that. Okay, so here's the thing. Remember they've given you some expenses. Let's see, into that doesn't matter. They've given you some expenses, and they didn't give you a price. Remember, the price was never even mentioned in this thing. So essentially, what they're doing is they're telling you, hey, you tell us what you want to pay for it, okay? Because You know, sales price subject to offers, because they don't know what to price this thing at. And so in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to use their numbers. Okay, so reserves, you get 45,000. Okay, that's going to be, it's going to be, let's see, 60 units. Let's say it's 300 times 60 units is $18,000. Okay, so you got 45,000. What we're going to do here is we're going to say that this is 18,000. And the reason why I say, and that's 1,800. The reason why I say 18,000, it's going to be $300 per unit per year. If I can type, times the number of units. Now, $300 per unit per year. Yeah, so it's going to be $18,000. Now, up here you get 5.6. You get $75,000 in initial improvements, and you get closing costs of 112. Now, 5, 6 times 0.03, yeah, 160. Okay, so you're looking at about 2%. And let's see, times 0.2, 5, 6. Yeah, so about 2%. Okay, that's fine. Let's leave that in there. Now, these things, examples of future improvements. Okay, that's fine. And the problem with that, so you've got it built into over 4 years. Let's do this over, let's start in year 2. Let's do year 3. I'm just kind of bunching it out because I want to see what this property really looks like when I'm buying it, okay? Because what'll happen, so you've got no number in there. Okay, so what we're saying is that in second, third, and fourth year, we're going to add this, but this 112 is going to show up in the first year already. So if we did 112 here plus an 80 in year 1, boy, your numbers are going to look like crap in the first year. So what we want to do is let's spread this out a little bit more because you've already got money here for capital expenditures. Then you want to do another 800. So let's spread it out a little differently. Now down here you use a cap rate based upon the following year's NOI. You know, that's fine. I usually use this one based upon the cap rate based upon the current year's NOI. And it totally threw my analysis off. There we go. Okay. So you're saying 5.6 million, okay? At a 7 cap, based upon the NOI, it's penciling out to be a $6 million deal. So you're offering 5.6 on a 6. That's pretty good. That's kind of where you want to be. You don't want to be right on the money. You want to have some value play in there in the price. We're investors. We don't pay retail. So retail would be 6. And the thing you need to do is verify that the 7% is the correct cap rate. Now keep in mind up here, I'm just going to point this other one to you. Report amounts after NOI. Okay, so you get that drop-down box. You can put this 18,000 above the line, or you can put it below the line. I prefer to put it below the line, which is exactly what you did. Now the mortgage, you're looking to do a 20-year AM, 20% down. That's fine. You're looking at 5% interest. Now, let me just tell you something. This type of property would be perfect for a government-sponsored entity's terms. So this would be a perfect Fannie Mae deal. So let's use Fannie Mae terms. Now, right now is 4.2 is one of them. And then over here under the amortization, we're going to do 30 years. So that's how I'm changing this, all right? And that is pretty much all I'm going to do on this page. Then I'm going to jump over to the income. Oh boy, the income, we got a problem here because they're using QuickBooks to figure out what the analysis is. And because it's not using a typical property management system, some of these numbers just don't make sense. So what I'm going to do is jump on back over here, and I'm going to go take a look at the that rent roll. Remember that rent roll? And I'm going to show you, okay, right here. Now the next thing, we're essentially saying, oh, he didn't tally it up for me. Oh, let's say 1,095. Okay. It looks to me like on a single basis, it's 1,095. You see this? They got 2 students in here, and they charge 1,200 bucks. Okay. So let's think about this for a second. Let's think about this. See, look at these rents here. These rents are so way offline. I'm going to use 1,095. I'm going to use 1,095. Yep, you did too. And okay, good. You got perfect, good. So what you were doing is you're putting in the market rents. All right. Now the other thing down here is we've got to figure out this other income. Okay, no, shoot, that wasn't what I wanted. I want to go here. We've got to figure out this other income at 65. So let's assume just for yucks that 65 times 60 equals 3,900. So let's go back over here to this one, and under this, other income, we'll just call it. We're going to say $3,900 per month in other income. And that brings us up to here. So we know what our top line number is. And then what we need to do is we need to see what we actually collected. See, here we collected $537,000. So they collected $537,000. Now watch this. I've got to get that 814 down to 733. I'm going to use the same rate for all years. I see you entered the vacancy rate separately. Now, at a 10%, I'm down to 733. I need to get it to 537. Boy, this is going to be ugly. So if I say 30% vacancy, I need to go 35% vacancy. I need to go 34% vacancy right there. See this effective rental income of 537? Oh, what a dummy I am. Oh, what a dummy I am. Okay, so that's going to be, that's 8 months. Hold on a second. 537,559 divided by 8 times 12 equals 806. All right, a little bit different. That kind of changes things. 806. Oh, boy, now we're looking at about a 3% vacancy. Not even. Whoa. Huh. Wow. Okay. So you look, wow, that's a pretty good, kind of changes everything. Look at that. I got to 806 with a 1% vacancy rate. All right. So I'm feeling pretty good about my income section here. I think I'm right on the money. Let me go back and check. No, wait a minute. What am I saying? No, I'm right. 806. That's right. Okay. Now let's take a look at the expenses. You came up with expenses of 36% expense ratio. Okay, you got 5% in here for the management fee. You notice I don't think they had a management fee in their numbers, or did they? Commission, legal, lease, maintenance, and repairs. Okay, yeah, I don't really see their management fee. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these expenses, and I'm just going to take the big number here, divide it by 8 times 12 equals $133,000. And how did you come out on the 133? Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow, hold on a second here. Let's go through this. Okay, now here you're losing me. You got 67,000 for the taxes, okay? Over here we've got 135,000. I don't know why it's that big. On-site management, you got a person working there. That's fine. 60, yeah, that would be about right. Maintenance, you got 2 people. You've got 2 employees working there plus a 5% management fee. That's killing you right there, but it's still only coming up to be 36% expense ratio. Insurance is at 300. That's right. Cleaning, of course. Advertising 1,000. Accounting 3,000. I'm all okay with all of these. Maintenance, payroll. Okay, that's typically you could put the on-site management and the maintenance guy in the payroll section. Repairs and supplies. That's about right. Yes, you're using all the right stuff. I'm just concerned about your tax number. I'm concerned about your tax number. And I'd like to see you try to operate this property at 100% at 100% maintenance occupancy, why do you need 2 employees? You really just need a maintenance guy. You don't really need a lease up or a management person. You just want to have a guy who's walking around fixing everything for you. Okay, so something's funky with this. Now let's take a look at the numbers. All right, so here's a problem. Look at your numbers. At 5.7, this property is I'm waiting for it to kick in. This property is a pretty good deal, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over here to the input data tab, and I'm going to take another look at it. 7% cap, it's now worth 7.76. Let's offer 7 million. Okay, and then I'll jump back over to the APOD, not the APOD, the cash flow analysis. And now look at it, 7 million. I got a 1.75 debt coverage ratio. I got a 14% cash on cash return. This looks like a pretty cool deal. This looks like a pretty cool deal. NOI is 543. Okay, I'm not buying these numbers. Here's the thing, Nathan. I wouldn't get any further down this deal until I got a trailing 12 financial from the seller. I need to see what this property is doing in every single month. That one little QuickBooks report they sent me is not going to be enough for me. I need the full thing. So go and contact the broker. Tell them, what the situation is. You want to get a trailing 12 financial on this property. Then let's go back to the drawing board and put the numbers back in once we had a trailing 12 financial. Okay, so that's basically how I do it. Let me just jump on over here. Okay, so here is your thing. Let me run through it with you. First off, the guy's name is Chuck Heller, and then you say, Dear John. Got to fix that. Second thing is, if you look here, it says real estate, personal property, grounds, buildings, and farm. Does it have a farm? Well, if it doesn't have a farm, then make sure you take that out. Please outline the general terms in which NANROC will serve as a non-binding letter of intent. I clean up a bunch of this stuff. You got the purchase price, earnest money. What I usually put back in here is what the first mortgage is going to be. And the reason why I do that is because I want him to see that I'm coming to the table with cash. So I always try to put the first mortgage down there as at least 25% of the 5.6 purchase price. So in this case, I would say something like why do I have too many zeros? Okay. Yeah, so I'd say that. And that way he knows that my offer is a little bit stronger because I'm coming to the table with cash. I'm sorry, first mortgage. What did I just do? I just, down payment. I could just change. I just got my terminology mixed up there. Okay. Purchase agreement, 15 days from the execution of the letter of intent. The earnest money is, see, you've got 56,000 here and you've got 48,000 down here. So you got to make sure that you watch these things to make sure they all tie together. Inspection period is 30 days. Financing period is 60 days. Closing date is 90 days. So you get your standard 30, 60, 90 time frame. All fine. Down here, you've got the Schedule 1 information. Listen, it's 2016, so you want to change that to 2017. And then I always make sure, just to keep my eyes peeled, that the last one is 12 months of bank statements. That's what I have to start with. That's what I start my analysis with. And I make sure it's right there in that last thing. So other than that, I mean, those are the types of things you want to make sure on the letter of intent. You just got to clean it up a little bit and then you'll be good to go. So you need to contact the broker on this. We need to get updated financials. We need to get a trailing 12. I want to see how this property has performed every month for the last 12 months. They obviously can do it. They gave it to you, from January to August 15th. Fine, give it to me for every single month. And then we're going to take a look at the analysis again. There's something funky going on here. I don't like it. The numbers just aren't jiving. It's too good of a deal. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with this. That's why I have to see the trailing 12. So you get that in there, Nathan, and we'll go back to work on this thing, and we'll get an offer submitted. All right, and that is it. That's how I look at these deals when they come in. And I look forward to speaking with you and chatting with you later. See you, pal. Bye.